On today's show, I'm going to be talking about why I've rejected the concept of reincarnation. I find the concept of reincarnation very problematic, but I'm going to begin this video by asking the viewers this simple question. Let's pretend someone claims to be the reincarnation of Abraham Lincoln. How do we test whether or not this is true or whether it is false? And should this man, who claims to be the reincarnation of Abraham Lincoln, should he resume the role as President of the United States of America if he was assassinated before his term was up, and thus the reincarnation of Abraham Lincoln would simply resume whatever time was left in his term? Would this be a reasonable question or a reasonable request? How would we test this? How could we tell if this person was phony or legit? I mean, anybody could read a lot of history books about Abraham Lincoln, and we could test this individual. However, if he got a question wrong, he can simply claim that the history books are wrong and what he experienced is the correct series of events. How does one really argue around that? And would really matter? I mean, even if he was a reincarnation of Abraham Lincoln, would it be possible to find someone more qualified for his job nowadays? And how much did he really remember from his previous lifetime? Or let's take the spiritual leader from Tibet, the Dalai Lama. Why is it that after every reincarnation, they have to re-educate him? Why can't he simply remember what he did before? Why does he have to learn how to walk, how to talk? I would take reincarnation more seriously if I could see somebody, let's say average intelligence, show signs of remarkable memory recall. This individual would have to have at least the ability to speak several different languages if they're a very ancient soul, or at least the ability or remarkable skill in several different trades. For example, perhaps a carpenter, a blacksmith, a seamstress. Imagine a very young person who never picked up a hammer in their life being able to build a house or furniture on the first try with little to no instruction, and be an exceptional blacksmith and be able to, let's say, build a pair of horse hooves. Or perhaps a seamstress, never picked up a needle and thread before, but could produce a sweater or a scarf on the first try. That would lead to some validation. But as of yet, I have not seen anybody with this ability. I mean, if I could see a kid who would have multiple skills at a high level of proficiency on the first try, that might lend to the argument for reincarnation. How about some of these new ager belief systems? I mean, there's traditional Hindu and Buddhist reincarnation belief systems, but let's look at the New Age movement. Let's talk about many of these reincarnation claims. Like, how often do you hear somebody claiming to be a reincarnation of a particular king or pharaoh or emperor? Like, how many people are claiming to be the reincarnation of Cleopatra? You know, it's very problematic after you meet a bunch of different people claim to be the exact same reincarnation of somebody. With all these people running around claiming to be this king or that pharaoh or that emperor, were there no peasants or farmers in the ancient world? I mean, did kings and nobles outnumber the poor people? And are all the history books and pure basic logic wrong? I mean, if you take all these people who are claiming to be royalty in a previous lifetime, why don't you hear people claiming to be peasants or the village drunk or the village fool or perhaps just a jester, or these psychics? I mean, when these psychics do these readings, it seems almost always glamorous. I mean, you were this king or this noble in a previous lifetime. I would put a little bit more credit into these new age psychics if one of their readings would suggest, you were just a farmer. You were just the village drunk. Well, actually, you did play a role in a very large battle. You were drafted by the press gang and used as cannon fodder, but you were part of a very important large battle. You didn't really last particularly long, but no. You were a knight. You were a samurai. You were part of the royal guard. You were king or prince so-and-so. It's always glamorous. And quite frankly, I mean, for argument's sake, even if that was true, well, guess what? You're alive today. You have to make the most of today. You have to decide what you want to do today and make the most of the life that's been given to you. Looking past glories and past events does not change who you are today and who you are right now. So for these reasons and many more, I have really rejected the concept of reincarnation. But next, we have to ask the question, is the belief in reincarnation beneficial or as a good way to motivate people to live good, virtuous lives? I think not. Different New Age teachers teach you more or less reincarnate over and over again, almost like a form of a cosmic therapy. You keep on reincarnating to learn new things, and to experience new experiences, and to basically overcome flaws and basically become a higher being or a better being. So it's almost like going for therapy over multiple lives and having multiple experiences. But why do so many people, or basically everybody, seems to have first memories? First time riding a bike, first time learning how to walk, first time falling in love, first time having your heart broken, first time feeling betrayed, first time walking down the aisle to become married. Is this your first marriage, or is this your 456th marriage? If you lived 460 times or 500 times, and most of the times you got married, why does it seem like a first time experience? That's a good question. Think of all the memories you have had that felt like a first time experience. Why do they feel like a first time experience if you could have done the exact same thing in the past 100 times, 200 times, 300 times over? Then it wouldn't be a first time experience, but yet it feels that way. Now, think back to when you were very young. Did you seem to have a mission or a directive or a goal? You know what? I need to accomplish this, and this. I need to do this. My goal or my mission or my objectives are this, this, and that. Because I have this trait, I need to learn how to overcome this trait in this lifetime so I can move on to a higher form. But yet we don't seem to have a memory of this. So how do we know if we're working on the right goal? Or perhaps you can say, we're alive today, we're experiencing life today, so let's figure out how to make the best life we can do today. What do I need to work on today? What am I experiencing? How am I feeling today? Why not wrestle with that? Versus going to your psychic and reading tea leaves or tarot cards. Why not just say, okay, you're alive today. Take charge, make your own decisions. Decide on what you want to work on. Decide what you want to accomplish. The fact you're going to these psychics and relying on tea leaves, tarot cards, or whatever else, you're handing over your decision making, your thinking, your ability to reason and debate, to use logic, to take personal control and responsibility of your life. You're handing that over to these other people or to these things that may or may not have your best interests in mind. If psychics are right, you're just going to do what you were going to do anyways. Or do you think you have personal choice in the matter? If psychics are right, you're going to do what you were going to do anyways. But if you think you have a choice in the matter, you can take control over your life and build your life. So I find this New Age movement not helpful and quite possibly very dangerous and very self-destructive. Now, let's talk about some of the more traditional belief systems found in Buddhism, for example, regarding karma and reincarnation. Different Eastern religions have slightly different viewpoints over karma and reincarnation. It would take quite a while to explain them, so I'm just going to focus on Buddhism. I have rejected Buddhism on many points, and I've done another video on why I've rejected Buddhism. But Buddhism often teaches, if you suffer in this life, it might be because of something you have done in a previous lifetime. Did you have a hard time learning how to read and write? Maybe you have dyslexia. Maybe you need reading glasses. No. It could be because in a previous lifetime, you may have burnt down libraries. And in this lifetime, karma is punishing you. If you're mourning the death of somebody and you're having a hard time moving on or getting past it, it could be because you were cruel to somebody or cruel to animals in a previous lifetime, and that's why you're suffering now. But that's very problematic. Let's say somebody wrongs somebody. Let's say somebody steals from somebody else or physically assaults somebody else. Did the person doing the crime, did they have a choice in the matter? Or is their karma forcing them to act that way? Or is the karma of the victim making the person committing the crime act that way? You can argue through karma, the person who's getting robbed might have been a thief in a previous lifetime, and now their karma's catching up, and now others are stealing from them. So does the karma of somebody else override someone else's ability to make their own decision to commit the crime or not commit the crime? So are you in control of your actions, or is karma forcing people to act a certain way? But do we not have the ability to repent of our actions? Have people not been rehabilitated? Have people not made amends or attempt to fix the wrongs that they have done? Have people not overcome very selfish and very destructive tendencies? Does this not prove, or at least strongly suggest, we have choice in the matter? But if you take the law of karma, it can be easily abused and distorted. Also, with reincarnation, I've seen videos of Buddhist monastics give sermons. In Buddhism, the goal of Buddhism is to lose all attachments. Not just bad attachments, but all attachments. And I remember listening to a sermon by a Buddhist monastic, and basically what he taught was, whatever you're excessively attached to, you can reincarnate as in the next lifetime. Did you raise dogs in this lifetime? You could reincarnate as a dog. If you raise cats, you can reincarnate as a cat. If you collect Buddha statues and if you're very attached to them, you can reincarnate as an insect living on or in a Buddha statue. That's kind of guilt tripping and shame based. I mean, if you want to help people and you want to build a facility where these people can get help, because you are attached to this organization that you have started, and let's say you finally die of old age, you can reincarnate as a lower form living in this building of this organization that you started. This is really a shame-based system. One, I think that's very, very wrong. So I do not believe the concept of reincarnation or karma is beneficial or useful. And the evidence for it I find very, very lacking. Like, for example, let's say someone builds a building. It's poorly built and it falls apart and some people fall and die. Is it because the people who built the building didn't do a proper job? Could that be the reason why these people got hurt and killed? Or was it because the people who got hurt and killed did something in a previous lifetime that's now catching up to them? Doesn't that put the people who built this building off the hook? You can shift blame to the victim. Or let's say you see a homeless person or someone who is really struggling in life. Maybe they have a disability that they need help with. Is it because their karma is bad? Is it because of economic situations? Maybe they're malnourished. Is it because of karma and things they have done in a previous lifetime? Or maybe we as a civilization need to grow more food, need to help these individuals, give them good medicines, give them good health care? Or do we simply say their karma is bad and they simply need to live through it and that's just their karma? Shifting blame can be a very dangerous and destructive thing to do. I mean, can one build up their own personal karma to a point where they're literally invincible in this lifetime? I mean, as far as I can tell, gravity works on everybody. If a bunch of people fell off a 8-story building, gravity doesn't care. Gravity just does gravity. Physics just does physics. It doesn't really care about if this person was good or this person was bad. And especially many Buddhists who are secular, who do not believe in the gods. How do you believe in karma if there's no higher force judging or any higher force imposing a morality or a defined law? Physics just does physics. If you fall into water, you will get wet. If you're exposed to fire, you will get burnt. Eat poorly prepared food and you may get food poisoning. Food poisoning affects everybody. It has nothing to do how moral or immoral or who you are or who you were in a previous lifetime. It affects everybody. So this magical thinking I find to be very problematic, dangerous, blame shifting, and it removes personal responsibility from the individual. For these reasons, I've rejected reincarnation and karma.